Hi, my name is Zipporah Jarmon. I am a life, career, and change coach, and I work primarily with BIPOC and queer folks.
How did you get into this? Um,
So I've always been really interested in people's life journeys. I've always been kind of a cheerleader, whether it's friends or family, just hearing what dreams they have and what visions they have for themselves and being a witness for them. So I've always been that friend where people are like, "Hey, Zipporah, I kind of want to do this." I'm like, "Oh, you should definitely do it. Like, what's your next steps?" I've always kind of been that person. I ended up when I was younger going into graphic design because I'm also an artist. So I was like, art is easy and it comes natural to me. And the more I did graphic design as a profession, I realized how it wasn't really that gratifying for me. I just couldn't see like what is all this work I'm doing, what is it amounting to? Like it's cool to see my designs or my websites, live, when I'm walking around or seeing a flyer out and about is really cool. But like I'm not helping anybody. I'm just making rich people richer. And I'm not getting, too much of that money myself. And so, a couple years into my old profession, I just started looking for something new. And what really kind of was the catalyst was in 2022, um, I was consulting someone around social media posting, and it ended up actually being life coaching. This person was really struggling with just trying to get back to posting so that their friends and family knew what she was up to. She is an actress in LA and she found herself feeling really avoidant around going on social media, which is understandable, right? She did the thing that a lot of people do, which is they go on, in January, they said, "Oh, my New Year's resolution is to get off social media." She got off social media and then she never went back. She was scared, And so she was like, "Well, Zipporah can consult me and help me kind of get back to posting." And the moment that she posted, we were on FaceTime together and she posted and she just tears crying. And I was like, "Oh, wow, this is impactful. This is something that she's been really wanting to do." And then I was like, wow, I feel so gratified. I am helping somebody. And then I was like, okay, I thought about life coaching about a decade ago. Let me look and see how can I become certified? How can I learn tools and foundational practices to actually help people? And I did that, and now I am a life and career coach. And to see people's journey from day one of what they might want to work on to, let's say 9 months later, completely different people. And it's so gratifying. It nourishes me, it feeds me. I, at my core, love just helping people. And yeah, life coaching does that.
you didn't have to get like a license or be certified, did you?
Yep, I did. So I'm certified. I have two certification through the program that I went through, which is an ICF certified program. And then through ICF, which is the kind of big certification um, organization, I had to get a certain amount of hours before I get that certification. But yes, I am certified.
Yeah. And you have I'm just curious, is it a LLC or you just doing on your
It's uh,
you?
uh, a sole proprietorship.
Okay, all right.
Hmm.
So now out of curiosity, so because believe it or not, I didn't have a life coach.
Hmm.
This is back in 2020. I was
Hmm.
on Facebook and I was just what's that word? Ranting.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine on Facebook says, "Why don't you get a podcast?" And
Mm.
rant on there. So I guess well, I've been doing this since 2020, and I
Hmm.
have been ranting in the last couple of months. So
We need to find you a subject, a topic to rant about.
oh, I just it's the same old topic. I mean, it's and I'm tired ranting about it. It's the
Mm.
it's the scammers on the dating sites that
Mm,
I'm ranting about a lot. I
mm,
said, well, if you don't want to rant, stop ranting, just get off. But I
mm,
understand what you say your friend is, because it's like, okay, so you stop your social stuff because, then what you do, like in my situation, because my
mhm,
friend, the reason why she told me to do this is to help me vent and get feedback and stuff like that. So sometimes I do feel like maybe I should just stop it because, get on those date sites and those social things. And
mhm.
so if what would be your suggestion that I should either keep it up or
Well, the beautiful thing about coaching is that coaches don't actually tell our clients what to do.
uh,
That's more of a consultant. A coach is someone who sit with you and asks you maybe open-ended questions to help you figure out yourself.
uh,
So, for example, if you are, maybe working towards a goal or trying to figure something out, you might talk to a loved one, a friend, and be like, "Hey, I'm really trying to, let's say, walk once a day, go outside, do a 10-minute walk." Um, a friend might say, "Oh, well, why don't you just do it in the morning?" But they don't know, maybe caregive for somebody. Maybe you have to be at work right at 7 a.m., right? Like those are barriers that only you know that your friends might not know because they don't have your lived experience. So I would maybe ask you, okay, what are a few times that you're available during the day? Right. And then so now we're looking at what your availability is like. Okay, what's a time frame that you're most free and you're feeling motivated, right? So then I'm kind of honing in on your goal and helping you figure out how to go about it. So yeah, so I, as your coach, wouldn't be able to give you a suggestion, but I would be able to ask you questions such as, when it comes to dating sites, what do you appreciate about dating sites or social media, and what don't you appreciate, right? And so then we're starting to narrow down how you feel and how you think, and what your experience is around that subject.
now this is interesting because I was trying to get when I had a personal trainer
Mm,
would help me. Actually, with him, I lost up to 200 pounds,
wow.
which was really great. I mean,
Congratulations.
but I'm getting fat again. So anyway, so I really can't afford one right
Mm,
now. So I went and got this app that cost $50. I said, well, let me try it with the app. So got the app, put it on my phone. I went to the gym and stuff like this. And you're supposed to do this. The app shows you how to do it, and stuff like that. And I got frustrated, so I'm not doing that. So
mhm.
I'm one of those people who have to be, I gotta have a person, a human being to push me, because now what I did with the app, when it rings, it tells me it's time to get up to do. I just gotta take the phone off.
Yeah. Yeah, as a coach, that's one of the things I hear a lot of, like when people are trying to self-manage themselves around something, whether it's like, oh, I want to go on a walk. I want to I don't know, sit down and cook, right? And then they set a reminder in their phone, the reminder goes off and they just swipe it.
Yeah,
Right. And so it's like, what do I need to make this happen?
yeah.
Right. Like, what sometimes I ask my clients, what is the perfect scenario that would allow you to use this app? Right. What does that look like for you?
Uh-huh.
Right. So you might be thinking already, okay, a perfect moment to work out for you might look like blank. So now you're starting to have little ideas of what can this look like? What does it look like for me to do this intentionally around my routine that already works for me, right? So yes, you're hitting something that I actually see a lot on the head.
Now you just work with LGBTQ community.
I I work with everyone, but primarily LGBTQ folks. I myself is a part of that community. And as you know, maybe that like we not a lot of straight folks are looking out for queer folks and LGBT folks, right? Like And not because they don't care or whatever the case may be, but like we have a lived experience and we know what we need and want. And
Right.
most of the time, straight people just don't happen to think about
I
LGBTQ people,
they
right?
say, well, I do this and I do that, and I'm like, well, I'm not like you, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I always welcome people who are not LGBTQ plus, but I intentionally choose to work with LGBTQ people and then BIPOC folks for the same reason, right? Sometimes the resources that we get, or when BIPOC people get resources, we're usually the last people to
yeah,
get them, right? Especially Black people, the B and BIPOC.
yeah, yeah.
And so my focus is these communities who are normally looked over.
Yeah. So, how would a person get in touch with you if they need a coach?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways. The first way is by visiting my website, which is withinmecoaching.com. I'm of the thought that everyone already have what's inside of them to thrive, to change, right? Like we are people who we have it, right? So go to withinmecoaching.com or on Instagram at withinmecoaching and then set up a free 30-minute discovery call. And in that call, not only do I go over what coaching is, but the client will bring in whatever they're working towards, and we'll go ahead and start getting some action items by the end of the coaching session. So by the end, they'll have maybe 2 or 3 things to do within the next 2 weeks. And then at the end of that coaching session, they will get notes from our coaching session. Because sometimes when you're in a coaching session or even in therapy, you're having all these big ideas and these big moments in your head and you're speaking them, and then you close the laptop or you leave out the room, you're like, I know that felt great, but what what did I talk about? What was the aha moment? So yes, withinmecoaching.com at within me coaching, and then I do offer a free 30-minute discovery call.
Okay. Now, the other thing is, I'm just curious. What happens if one of your clients will call you at 3 o'clock in the morning? What a problem.
Well, none of my clients have my phone number. The only way that client would have my number is if we did a phone call. Usually I do virtual sessions. So it wouldn't be a phone call, but I have gotten emails really late at night, right?
Mhm.
Um, all my clients know that I don't respond to emails after a certain time unless they're overseas. I did have a client who was in India, or I'm sorry, who was in Saudi Arabia. And so there was a time difference. So sometimes I would bend that rule just a little bit for that client. But other than that, my clients know that I will be reachable first thing in the morning and that they will hear back from me.
So most of your most of your contact with your client is face to face, like with Zoom.
It's Zoom, correct?
Sure. So I'm just curious. So does it work if you just did the email or text? You know,
So the via email and text, that's just if someone's reaching out to me, like from your question, from my understanding was that if someone just like wants to call me, no one calls me, but I do get an email that's just like, hey, this is something that I pushed through this barrier today. I want you to know.
oh,
Or hey, I'm worried about this. Can we talk about it next session? It's usually email that's talking about something as it pertains to our goal. But I don't coach via texting or Gmail because it needs to be in person. It needs to be
okay.
live.
Right. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
And the last questions of the day.
Mhm.
You do charge, of course.
Yes, of course, I charge. So I have a sliding scale range. So again, to my point earlier around coaching for BIPOC and queer folks, I try to make sure that my range is accessible based off of people's lived experience. So I have a pretty wide range, which you could see on my website. And there's a breakdown for each kind of tier of like, hey, I have this experience, so I should probably pay this amount. I offer 6 sessions that covers 3 months. So I meet my clients normally twice a month for 3 months. Some clients I meet them more, and some clients I meet them for longer, but everything is pretty transparent on my website.
You know, the first time I heard about coaching, I don't know if you know the TV show Seinfeld.
Yeah, yeah.
One of his girlfriends, and she had a coach.
No, yeah. It's
That's the
it's a
first time.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing to see how life-changing it is. I have so when I did my program, we had peers, right? People in our class, and we had to do peer coaching. And one of my peer clients that I had, it's been beautiful to see her life change. It's been beautiful. It's someone coming into the door not knowing who they are, and a
Yeah,
year later being completely unrecognizable to that first person, and happy, right? And so my goal is to give BIPOC and queer folks the access to this huge resource that other people have just been getting.
yeah.
Again, like I said, sometimes we get things last, but my goal is to give it to our community intentionally and to watch our community grow and be more successful.
Okay. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to have all your information
Yes,
in at the end of the, you know me, and if, whoever's watching, if you're watching, it'll be in at the description. I have
yes.
everything in the description. And
Awesome.
Zipporah, is it Zipporah?
Zipporah.
Zipporah. Well, Zipporah was nice talking to you.
It was so nice talking to you. I love the art behind you. I love the
That
photos.
art behind me is a friend of mine. I don't think he watched any of my podcasts, but anyway, he um he made that back in the 90s.
Wow.
And he's an artist, and I've been buying up his stuff.
Wow.
Well, hope he doesn't hear this podcast. You know, they say how artists become famous when they die. I got all his art. So
I see that you are smart. I see that you have been working hard with some intentionality for yourself. But it's beautiful. Every little bit I'm staring in the back and kind of making out more of it, and it looks
oh,
beautiful.
this was banned on I had when I put this up. I think I put this up on Facebook,
Wow.
and they
Mhm,
took it down. This is when Facebook, this is years ago, like, yeah, they
mhm.
took it down. They said it was inappropriate.
That's wild. Well, it's beautiful. And thank you so much for having me on your show. I've loved getting to know you and chatting a little bit more about coaching. So thank you.
Thank you. And I wish you luck in everything that you do.
Thank you so much. You the same.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right, bye.